on a different character. So Apollo's in front of me. I'm going to wait for him to go ahead and use his dash. I'm going to ulti through this wall to try to get a better position. I presume he's going to mez me when I come down. There it is. So I've got my beads at the ready, and I can grab myself a double kill.
You're on fire!
Use code Incon for 30% off of your G Fuel from March 25th through March 29th. Hello everybody, we are here with your Jing Wei ADC guide. So we're gonna be grabbing ourselves a death toll. I personally like the Devo gloves on Jing Wei because I feel like I can finish them early, fly back to lane and start getting a lot of stacks. You don't have to go the Devo gloves here. You can still very much go into like an early berserker shield, but I actually like a little bit of extra life steal on my Jing Wei because I've already got some crit built into my abilities, so I don't have to worry about getting quite as many crit items as maybe I necessarily would with some other gods. We're going to be getting our 1 at level 1. This is our main PvP ability. Also helps a little bit with our lane clear. It's actually probably better at clearing jungle camps than it is clearing lane minions. And it is also the ability that we're going to max out first. And it also has quite a few interactions with our kit as well. So when we throw this ability down, it's just going to do damage. But if we actually walk through it, we're going to gain a bonus attack speed. And it'll knock us up. So we'll get a bonus attack speed temporarily, and it also combines with our agility. Our agility gives us power and movement speed, and it gives us more power and more movement speed if we're actually in the air when we utilize it. So if we walk through a 1, that's going to give us bonus attack speed, and then if we use our dash from that, we're going to get a bunch of power and movement speed, which really helps us chase. Because our 3 is our getaway skill, we also grab that at level 2. Now by itself, it's actually a pretty short dash. It's not that great of an ability, but when you actually get to utilize it, oh, what a good pluck from my Sobek. This is a dead Apollo right there. He's gonna get plucked and send right back to the base. Easy peasy for me. I just get the follow-up all normal like. So if you just try to use this dash by itself, you do not go very far, and you're going to get a much smaller buff comparatively. So you would prefer to use it from the air. Now that means that if you get, let's say I was against the Sobek and Sobek plucked me, I can use the ability from a enemy knockup of any situation. So if I get Sobek plucked and I'm getting flowing one way, I can actually use my dash while in the middle of the air to throw myself in a different direction. Jing Wei, one of the better gods in terms of countering knockups. And we can, of course, use it aggressively. I can throw down my 1, and then I can dash in super aggressive, and I'm going to get a bunch of bonus power and the movement speed and the attack speed. I've got bonus to basically everything you could possibly want, and it allows me to go very aggressive. That's how you play Jing Wei aggressive in the lane. You start to clear the wave, you dash into them, and all of a sudden you are slapping. At level 3, I got my 2. Our 2 is not going to do a whole bunch. At level 1, you can see crit chance 0%. So you might be like, why do you grab it? The reason why you grab that 2 is because it makes your auto attacks a little bit bigger / AoE. So they are slightly easier to hit when you're PvPing. And they're also going to help you clear the wave because you're going to get that auto effect on all the creeps. It's also the ability that we are going to max out typically last. So on Jing Wei, I am a 4-1-3-2 guy. Some people go 4-1-2-3 to get the crit going and get that percent online. I personally would prefer to have the lower cooldown on my dash, as well as the increased stats. I find that that damage output that I get is more consistent, plus it's a little bit safer getting that cooldown down. So I level Jing Wei 4-1-3-2. In the laning phase, our clear is not the strongest. So gods that have really, really good clear, think the Izanamis of the world, are probably gonna push you back. So you gotta be a little bit careful about that. I'm gonna go dash right into this Apollo. I got my AoE autos, so you can see how the Baron is body blocking autos, but I actually got 2 auto credits on the Apollo because I was just using my 2 for the AoE. So watch out for guys that have a absolute ton. What great flex right here from the Sobek, just coming in swift. We're gonna be grabbing ourselves, hopefully, a couple. No, we're not gonna get any kills off of that. Dang. That was a great plex though from Sobek right now. So this, every time he's plucking, I'm basically just trying to follow up with my 1. I've got to be a little careful on the Apollo earlier. When I followed up on it, he wasn't actually fully out of the knockup yet. And that meant that I actually did not get my knockup effect from my 1. In order to get that kind of pluck in the knockup, you have to wait just a moment and hit them with the 1 at just the right time, so then that way they get knocked up again. Speaking of knocking up, I'm gonna run right into this Apollo. I'm just gonna dash into him, hit him with a couple of autos, and then try to finish him with the ultimate, and then I can use my ulti to get back out as well. So right there, I use my dash aggressively, get right up in his face to land a couple of autos. After we grab all that, I just use my ulti right there for some bonus damage. Now, I've got to be careful here because I know that Baron trying to give me the suck. Unfortunately, what I really wanted to do was use my 1 and my 3 for the longer dash, but I was too short on my mana right there in order to get it off. I only had 69 mana and I needed 75 for it, so I just went for the short dash to try to get out of the Baron suck, but it is not long enough by itself. I honestly probably shouldn't even have beads right there. I probably should have just died and just kind of let it happen. Gonna get out a couple of wards and we're finishing up our Devo gloves. Like I said earlier, I do like a little bit of that bonus sustain on Jing Wei. I find that it's helpful and it's gonna scale really well with the crit items that we are going to be building as well. Jing Wei pretty much always builds crit. Regardless of whether crit is meta or not, because she has built-in crit, she just scales really well with it. You can get like a Rage Deathbringer, and when your 2 is up, you have like 90% crit chance or something crazy. So you don't need a whole lot of itemization in order to make the crit very effective on Jing Wei. Now, Jing Wei's passive is also actually very good this season. Jing Wei should basically never fall behind in farm because of her passive. When I go back to base, I'm gonna fly back in. When you're using that fly back in, you want to try to land on some farm. So like right now, I've got nothing to do over here and left. I'm actually gonna back up. I see that the back left harpies are up. So I'm gonna back it up. I'm gonna pop my 2 in the base because my 2 will stay on me as I leave. I'm gonna fly myself right to these back harpies, and I'm just gonna quickly knock them out for a little bit of bonus XP. Jing Wei can pretty much always fly back and just grab those back harpies for a little bit of bonus XP. I also tend to pop my 2 every time I back on Jing Wei to make sure I've got those AoE autos ready. And also your 2 will continue to go on cooldown while your autos are up. So right now you can see I've got my 3 AoE autos as indicated by my little passive meter, but the cooldown is still going. So if I actually wait right now, I can just have 6 of these in a row. So I could go 1, 2, 3, pop my 2 again, and I've got another 3. So you can actually get 6 AoE / bonus crit autos when you just leveled up high enough and get a ton of value out of that ability that way. That's why I always pop it when I leave the base no matter what, because it's just gonna stay on you until you're ready for it. You'll oftentimes just like use it on a back harpy camp or the wave or something, not necessarily in PvP. But it's always good to have up. Always good to have up. So, Jing Wei loves going against characters with knockups because of her 3. Inherently, she does really well against them. That means Sobex, that means Hercules, anybody, and her. If he tries to jump on you, you can use your dash to get away. So you have a lot of options against knockups. Now, on the flip side of that, Wheelix is a nightmare for you because a big part of your kit is trying to be aggressive with your knockup. And if you can get pulled out of that, that is obviously a problem. So Wheelix really takes the air out of Jing Wei, because you have to be super careful about actually utilizing your one for the knock-up and the effect. See a teammate over here. Speaking of being careful, I'm going to walk right through this. Get that bonus attack speed. Looks like Tia is just going to kind of patiently run away. I'm not super scared right now. I don't mind being here. But with the Baron coming over, that's when I do need to be a little bit more concerned. See if I can't reach the Baron. I cannot. I'm going to use my dash towards this Tia and my team, and we're going to grab that quick kill. I'm going to ulti to get myself out of here. Cullen was coming that way. So I use my ulti to get over walls. Your ultimate will go through walls. So you can use it as a leap in that regard. Your 3, while you're really, really high in the air for a lot of it, is a dash. It is not a leap. So you cannot use your 3. No matter how high it looks like you could get over a wall, you actually cannot get over walls with your little 3. Not, excuse me, well, not at least the walls on the actual conquest map. All right, so now I'm going to start ranking up my 3. I got my 1. I got my ulti. Getting those whenever I can. Now it's time to start getting some extra power and some extra movement speed off of my agility. Jing Wei is more of a late game hunter. You don't see her a ton right now. Not because she's bad or anything, but she is definitely more of a mid-game team fight style hunter. She ends up scaling really well into the later stages of the game. Not quite as early game focused, so the her Apollo, Danza Burrows of the world are typically going to get picked over you. But if you can make it to that mid game without being behind, which is very possible in Jing Wei. One of the best parts about Jing Wei is that passive that makes sure that she can't fall super far behind. So even if you lose the early clear, which there's a good chance you will lose the early clear, even if you get killed a couple of times, particularly before you get your ultimate consistently up, that's fine, as long as you're making sure that you are farming and utilizing that passive to get back to back harpies. It should catch you up a lot. Now, Jing Wei should basically always be up or even in XP because of that. If you're falling behind in XP on the Jing Wei, something has probably gone really, really wrong. She's one of the safest hunters in the game. Because of her CC, I mean, ultimately gets over walls, because she has a very long dash with her 3, and because of her passive letting her get back, she's one of the safest hunters to pick in terms of making sure that you are acquiring enough farm. So if you do tend to have trouble farming, I would actually recommend Jing Wei as a character, because she tends to kind of just by default get a level lead. A lot of it just comes down to her vast array of movement. So for my third item, I'm going to start going right into crit. I've got a fully stacked Devo gloves. I'm going to have the Death Toll, which is going to turn into a Death's Embrace late game, which is going to give me a bunch more sustain on top of the sustain that I already have. And so now I'm going to start transitioning my build into crit. My third item this game is going to be a Rage. I would argue that Rage is probably the best crit item in the game right now. Fail Not is still really a good item on cooldown based hunters. So like somebody like an Anher really still likes the Fail Not, but somebody like Jing Wei never really liked the Fail Not in the first place. And now that it's been nerfed a bit, that Rage is just even more enticing for like the Jing Wei Ramas of the world, these auto attack based characters, more so than abilities. So we do want to get that Rage as soon as we can, which is why we get it as a third item, because we do want to get those stacks going. Rage stacks are very important. Normally the item gives you 30% crit right when you start it, but when you're done, it's a 45% crit item. Each of those stacks is going to give you 3% more crit, and of course you can have up to 5 stacks. So now I'm going to back up. I'm going to finish that whole Rage, and when you combine the fact that Rage can give you 45% crit, right? On top of the fact that Jing Wei has 20% potential crit built in, that means with just a stacked Rage and you're leveled up 2, you're at a 65% crit chance for those 3 autos. You throw in a Wind Demon, all of a sudden now it's like 85%, plus you've got the extra pen, movement speed, attack speed, all that good stuff.
Who's around the corner?
So now I can start to play even more aggressive. I'm rotating around the map quite a bit. Jing Wei has the luxury of doing so. Because of her passive, you kind of can just choose to fly in to any lane a little bit willy-nilly. Because you can make it back quite quickly to wherever you need to be. So a fight is breaking out right now, so I want to make sure I'm behind my tanks if at all possible, but while trying to simultaneously be in the auto attack range. I know that Chalk's ultimate is down, so I don't mind going more aggressive into this. The Baron's going to go for the ulti on me, it seems. So I'm going to ulti backwards towards the Apollo, try to land back into this, see if I can't grab that kill. We do get the kill. And now my job is just going to be focusing on this tower. We've got 2 creeps. Once they're dead, my sub probably needs to get out. He's got to be very careful, so I'm going to try to give him a little bit of zoning right here. And I'm honestly not even in that bad of a spot right now because of the heals that I'm going to be able to put out. Now, I'm not going to use my dash right now. I'm going to be waiting on my dash because I do not want to dash until I'm in the air, because then I get the way longer version of the dash. And now I can make sure that the Baron cannot catch up to me. Our standard combination on Jing Wei is pretty simple. What we're looking to do is we're looking to hit whoever we're fighting with our 1 first. After we hit him with the 1, we're kind of walking up towards them. And if they start to engage on us, then we just go right into an auto attack war. But if they start to run away, that's fine because we have sent out our 1 aggressively, right? So we throw it out aggressively, we try to do damage. If they start fighting us, cool beans, we just start fighting. If they try to run away, then we get to use our dash to catch up. And just by using our dash to catch up, we're gonna get the bonus attack speed, the bonus movement speed, and the bonus power, which is going to help out a ton in that 1v1. Running away from Jing Wei tends to be quite difficult. She is very good at chasing. Very good. One of the best actually hunters at chasing, probably just below Danza, because obviously Danza's rocket is real good at chasing people down. That thing has got some nitrous in it. He's a rocket man. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back up. There's a huge fight breaking over right? So I wanna make sure that I'm over there to split push, do whatever I need to do. So I'm gonna back up and then utilize my passive to actually fly over. Instead of sitting there and walking all the way over, it would take me way, way longer to do that. So instead I back up and actually use my passive to get over here, which is gonna give me a great rotation. This means in general that Jing Wei's rotations are better than the general hunter population, with of course the notable exceptions being that Apollo and Chernobog will tend to out-rotate you because of their global. But you can actually keep up quite well with the Apollo and the Chernobog. Most people cannot keep up at all. And so the fact that she can actually get over in about the same amount of time is huge. So if you're worried about rotations from an enemy team as well, Jing Wei is another good pick during those times. Gonna continue to work on my Wind Demon, keep putting out wards as I can, and fly myself right over to some back harpies, get myself some more farm. So right now I'm level 16, and I've been rotating a lot. I have not been sitting in lane AFKing. I've been running around kind of looking for some plays, and I'm still able to maintain a very nice 4-level XP lead right now over the Apollo, and that's just because I'm not wasting nearly as much time as I would be on a different character. So Apollo's in front of me. I'm gonna wait for him to go ahead and use his dash. I'm gonna ulti through this wall to try to get a better position. I presume he's gonna mez me when I come down. There it is. So I've got my beads at the ready, and I can grab myself a double kill.
You're on fire!
So I'm rotating onto the Apollo. I know I'm gonna dash into him. I dash in. There was a cull in there from when they had just done the Gold Fury. Snag that quick kill. Use my ultimate right into the wall so I can get maximum efficiency in the movement department from it. I wasn't gonna hit him and do damage. I just needed to catch back up. I know when I land next to him, he's gonna go for the mez and try to get away that way. So I've got my finger on the bead, ready to go.
It's go
Now I'm gonna use my 1-3 here in order to get some extra damage on this tower. Because it gives me attack speed and power, it means that if you're split pushing, or you're just trying to do the objectives like this and there's nobody around, feel free to use your 1-3 like that, because it's gonna help you burn down that tower faster. Now, if you're afraid that you're gonna get ganked or something, or you're gonna get rotated on, whatever, don't use your 1 and your dash aggressively, because you're going to need them to utilize them as the actual getaway skills. So you can only do that when you're extremely confident that there is nobody coming your way. Just gonna look at the Apollo because he's actually kind of zoned out from the rest of the team. I've got my 1 in between everybody. So they had to walk through my 1 right there if they wanted to get back to base. It's another way that you can utilize that Jing Wei 1, like right here. If they wanted to come through here, they'd have to manually walk into it in order to get over to the left-hand side. And nobody wants to be knocked up. It is the best form of CC in Smite. Now, my Wind Demon is basically ready to be finished, but I can also get Death's Embrace very soon. So I'm going to keep farming for my level 20. And I'm going to try to get that Death's Embrace on my first back. Always finish your starter items as soon as humanly possible. It's not a Smite recommended build, because recommended build doesn't level up the starter until after all of your items are built. But it is Incon recommended to get that starter item leveled up as soon as you can. Should be able to go grab my own purple. It is an enhanced purple. You can see the little diamond above it. Get that bonus 25% attack speed, then we'll back it up. We'll be level 20. And we actually might be able to afford both the Death's Embrace and our Wind Demon. Death's Embrace, check. Wind Demon, check. Sentry Ward. Wait to pop my 2 in the base before I go flying so I can get that cooldown started. I'm going to call for a Fire Giant for my team. I have a lot of crit. I have a lot of damage and a stupid amount of sustain. The Devo's plus Embrace means that my autos are going to be healing for basically 5 to like 10+% if I'm critting, which is crazy. So as long as somebody starts tanking, I'm gonna start it myself. I don't need to wait for no man to tank this. So I'm just gonna do it myself. And you're gonna see that with all my sustain items, I'm genuinely not taking any damage right now. I can just sit here and tank this thing all day long. Okay, gonna grab ourselves that fire. We have a Baron right in front of us. Apollo landed in the back though, so I'm gonna turn around and hit him with the triple crit. So right there is the exact reason why Jing Wei becomes such a powerhouse in the late game. Rage has crit. Wind Demon has crit. I've got crit built into my second ability. And so I'm basically guaranteed critting on every single auto. And Lord knows that crit hit hard. So for my last item, I like to grab a Deathbringer. Standardly, you will overcap a little bit on your crit when you have that 2 up and running, but honestly, overcapping on crit is not the end of the world. 100% crit, guaranteeing that you're going to hit it no matter what, is actually pretty nice most of the time. You could also go more penetration. Dominant is a great item in this situation, so I've only got 10% pen right now from my Wind Demon, but if I grab the Dominant, then I've got 30% pen on my autos, which means I'm basically doing true crit damage on these tanks. So it comes a little bit down to your play style, but Dominant and Deathbringer, both very good potential items right here. Wow, speaking of potentially very good, holy flux and tux and all sorts of good stuff for my team right now. So right now I'm just kind of chilling back. Whatever they want to bring to me, whatever they want to put in my mouth, that is kind of my fodder. You see, it doesn't matter what I'm hitting right now. They are taking so much damage because of these crits. And I'm healing up to full with basically every single auto attack. we should actually be able to put this game away after we grab this mid Phoenix. So I get all the healing from my Devos and my Death Embrace at the same time. Nobody on their team can really walk at me because I'm a late game hunter. The only thing they can really do to try to counter is to build a Spectral. But honestly, Spectral armor is like good for against crit, but it certainly does not stop crit from being a problem slash the best build right now for hunters. So for that last item slot, like we said, it would have been that Deathbringer for more crit, or if you're going against a tanky team, the dominance, that team was actually pretty tanky, so it probably would have been the dominance there. They had the Baron that was building tank, they had a Chalk, they had a Kukulkan jungle, so I probably would have ended up grabbing more penetration in that particular match, because I already had, you know, what is the 90%-ish crit with my 2 popped. And so that would have been how we finished that one up, guys. So on Jing Wei, make sure you're utilizing the fact that you have extra push, that you have the ability to fly around the map, you can do swift rotations, and you can get a lot of farm and abuse that level lead. And that is our Jing. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.